Let it be known that I don't want to be an adult anymore. I just want a handy dandy notebook and a big red chair so I can help Steve solve mysteries. Okay.
Take out that cell tower.
What's up, y'all? It's Cell Tower, aka your favorite chill beat babe. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 in my series of beat breakdowns from my latest album called Children. And let's just get right into it. No time wasted. Here's how I made my song called Pretenders. Okay, so this track is in A flat major, similar to Knee Scrapes. So I found this progression. This is just a single progression, and I looped it throughout the entire song. For the MIDI, I shifted it off grid just a little bit, and then I adjusted the velocities to give it a more human feel, I guess, and make it sound smoother. And then for the instrument itself, I used the tape piano capstan upright preset from the Spitfire Audio VST. I'm also using this VST again in another track, except for I switched the instrument to felt cassette piano. And I think adding that little complementary phrasing really helps add a little bit more movement and then kind of gently pushes that intro along. And for the effects, I have both of these tracks running through an aux channel that has my tape cassette plugin that I use all the time and Cymatics memory, because we gotta add that nostalgia sauce on every track. And then on top of all of that, I've also got this really cool sound effect from the Aura preset line from Arcade, and I just thought it was like a really cool sound that kind of mimics the, when you're flying a plane through the air, or like taking your superhero action figure and just kind of flying it around through the air. I thought that was a nice little touch. And then for the ambiance, I've got some backyard sounds from my Cymatics Life Pack. So that's where like the bird chirping is coming from. And later on in the track, I actually added another layer of playground sound just to give it a bit more life and kind of signify this transition from playing alone to playing with other people. So all of that together stacked on itself is the intro, which goes like this. Okay, so for this next section, I started off by bringing in this chopped vocal sample that I found, and the full sample goes like this. I don't believe I can. So I basically took it and put it in Serato sample, and I chopped it up based on each word so I could build new phrases with it, and I ended up with So throughout the song, you're kind of hearing this, believe I can, which perfectly coincides with the track title, Pretenders. So also in this section, I introduced the drums and the perks. I've got a pretty basic drum pattern. My kick and my rim shot are both from the Cymatics Eternity pack. And like I said, I kept it very simple. And then on top of all of that, I've also got a hi-hat and perk pattern that I made using the Drum Machine Designer step sequencer in Logic. So both of those together sound like this. And later on in the track, I actually decided to add in some percussion from the Aura line to kind of switch things up a little bit and aid that transition from playing by yourself to playing with others. And it also is like a little attention grabber, basically, because that transition from solitude to community isn't always the smoothest, and neither is like the transition from pretending to reality. So having that little phrase in there, kind of like, oh, something's changing, So you kind of pay attention for that next section of the song. And that perk section sounds like this. And it's also kind of cool because it kind of sounds like marbles hitting each other, like when you're playing jacks and all the marbles kind of hit each other. So another playful element to the track. And I also want to call out these piano stabs that I also added from Arcade. This came from the taped line, and oops, these came from the taped line. And these stabs are basically, I'm just going back and forth between two different stabs, and it kind of coincides with that kick pattern. It's like the interaction between like your pulse, like from your heart, and then your breaths. The pulses in the kick pattern are just like a little bit off, kind of like, you know, you've been running around, exerting a lot of energy. But the breaths are a bit more steady. They're still rushed, but they're more steady because, you know, you've been playing, you're excited. And in the intro, it's just that breath sound, the guitar stabs, and the ambiance, because after all of that playing and pretending, you're basically worn out and you've reached your limit, you've reached the boundaries of your imagination, I guess. So yeah, that's how I formed the outro, and it's just like a nice little moment where you can breathe and kind of settle into the vibe, and let your imagination take you wherever you want to go. And there you have it. That is how I made my song called Pretenders. You can listen to the full track and the entire album because it's out right now. You can listen to that on all streaming platforms. I will put the link in the description. The link is always going to be there, it's not going anywhere. Definitely check out the full track and the full album if you have not already. And on top of that, make sure you subscribe and that you follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Cell Tower Smash. All of that is going to be over there somewhere. And yeah, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.